Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning in. Happy 4th of July. Lots of stuff going on in the wrestling world, but before we get started on that, I wanted to talk about the sad passing of Joe Turkel, who was a character actor who played, my favorite role obviously is Eldon Tyrell. I say obviously because Blade Runner is my favorite movie of all time, so it's sad to see the gentleman that played Eldon Tyrell from Tyrell Corporation, creator of The Replicants and Blade Runner, pass away. He was in The Shining also, among a ton of other films, but that's obviously the role I remember him most for, because, like I say once again, Blade Runner is my favorite movie, and Ridley Scott's my favorite director. So, sad news there. Joe Turkel, rest in peace, please. But yeah, aside from that, thankfully nothing else really tragic happened, except for some people already blowing their hands off on the 4th of July. But once again, please, people, be safe out there. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and use fireworks, and don't do anything stupid. I need as many listeners as I possibly can get. So please, be careful with the fireworks. Be careful just in general. And especially here in Tennessee, Western Tennessee, we've got drought conditions right now. It's ridiculously dry, so make sure you keep a bucket of water around to douse those firecrackers when they go out, please. Like I said, a lot of stuff going on in the wrestling world. Orange Cassidy got to debut his quote-unquote new music. His new 40-year-old music from Jefferson Starship. Actually, it's probably closer to 50. Wow. Why Orange Cassidy chose Jane from Jefferson Starship, if someone can fill me in on the history of that, I'd love to hear what it is, because it just seems like such a bizarre fit for him. But okay, and why Tony Khan was so upset about that leaking out. That's just bizarre. But, okay, so Jane is Orange Cassidy's new theme music, which his previous theme music was pretty recognizable, so I don't know why they kind of switched that over. Like I said, if there's anyone that knows anything about that and understands the history behind that, please leave a comment and let me know, because I'd love to learn. Christian switched over to a heel, obviously, and looks like he's going to be aligned with Luchasaurus, because Luchasaurus came out and wrestled a match under his tutelage. I'm not sure what all this is doing. I'm guessing this is set up, we'll set up a feud with Jungle Boy, try to get him over. It's going to be interesting to see how Jungle Boy responds to this, because in the past, he's not been a good promo. Hopefully he's picked something up from Christian and learned. And hopefully the two of them can spar off against each other and elevate Jungle Boy. I think that would help him a lot, but I still think this is too early in his career. I think he should still be going teamed up with Luchasaurus and doing Jurassic Express, and because that was a good team up, and neither one of them are good promos, so the two of them together in a tag team situation I thought was ideal. But maybe Christian can pull something out of Jungle Boy. I mean, the guy can wrestle. I mean, he's small, but he can wrestle, can obviously go, so I think Christian will get some great matches out of him. I don't see that being an issue. I just think that the emotional attachments going into it, how can I say it, building the emotions, that's going to rely a lot on Christian, I think, because I don't see Jungle Boy elevate. Hopefully he elevates his game, his promo game, because he's not very good, and that needs to improve, and I'm hoping that Christian helps him out with that and elevates him to a higher level. I mean, is this the end of Jurassic Express? Obviously, only time will tell. I think it's probably going to be, at least for a little while. I like Luchasaurus. I just, once again, like I said, promo-wise, he's kind of god-awful, but But yeah, he had a squash match with Serpentico, which kind of demonstrates Christian's tutelage, and obviously he's under the management of Christian now, which obviously is just going to build this feud between him and Jungle Boy that much more, And of course we had Blood and Guts on Dynamite, which excellent match, really very good match. The bump that Sammy Guevara took at the end of it was crazy. Obviously, great match. But once again, AEW is giving away pay-per-view quality matches on television. I'm not really a fan of that. I think this should have been part of a pay-per-view, especially booking it immediately after the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Might have been a little bit of a kind of a letdown. It's kind of weird. I just don't think it's good booking. I think they should have probably built this up a little bit longer and maybe even saved it for the next pay-per-view. I don't know, but it doesn't take anything away from the match. The match was great in and of itself. I loved watching the reactions of my wife to some of it. She's never watched ECW really. We've watched a little bit of it here and there. I watched the TNA's tribute that they did years ago that I have on DVD, but she didn't get an opportunity to see ECW in its prime, So she was a little shocked at some of the extent that they went with, and it was kind of interesting and fun to watch her reactions. But granted, it's not every day you see that much blood on television. But obviously, since WWE has their no blading policy in place, and it's a PG rated product now, so you're not going to see anything like that in WWE. So it's shockingly different, and but excellent match, really enjoyable match. Anything these guys do, like Blood and Guts and like that, comes out really good. So it was a very enjoyable match, and I love the matching outfits from the Jericho Appreciation Society. So that was fun too. I like that. Other big thing, obviously, WWE this Saturday had their... Oh, before I go any further, did not get a chance to see Rampage. Have not watched that yet, so I can't make any comment whatsoever on that. But I did get to watch Money in the Bank on Saturday, which was a decent pay-per-view. We obviously had Liv Morgan won the Money in the Bank. Not too shocking. I think they're just trying to prolong the feud between Becky and Asuka, and I guess it's Liv Morgan's time. We're not, it's whoever they choose to push, they will. So and I think they've got a lot of faith in Liv Morgan. They think she can move merchandise, so it makes sense. She kind of obviously comes off sometimes as an Alexa Bliss clone, but there's enough differences there to differentiate them. I think Alexa Bliss at this point kind of looks like she's just phoning it in. She's there to move merchandise. They had a silly little skit with her and the doll later on, but I think they're trying to force Liv Morgan into that role that Bliss formerly held. We had the match between... I'm still calling him Austin Theory. Sorry, because Theory just makes no sense to me. So they had a match between Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley, where Bobby Lashley won the U.S. Championship. It's good to see, but I had a funny feeling after this that they were going to they're removing the belt from Austin Theory to elevate him to championship status, heavyweight championship status. And I had that funny feeling that was going to happen with this match. And I don't want to jump ahead too much, but that's the feeling I had the whole time during that match. We had Bianca retain, thankfully, because I would probably lose my mind if I had to watch Carmella as champion. So thank God Bianca is still a champion. Let's see. The Usos retain. No big shocker there. Man, the whole Usos is just they're one of the best tag teams out there, and them and FTR really, I think, are the top two in the world right at this point. The Usos have so much more charisma. FTR are just a different type of tag team. Utilize their technical aspects much better. They are a much more technical wrestling team and a throwback, and that I like. I enjoy that a lot, but I really do think the Usos are right up there with them. As far as the Street Profits go, I'm still not buying these guys. I really am not, and I'm glad they didn't put the belts on them. They got a ton of charisma. Obviously Montavious Ford is the clear breakaway star from this bunch, but they bore me in the ring. I'm sorry. A lot of their matches are kind of cookie cutter, very formulaic, and I wish they'd get a little bit more creative in the ring, and that would kind of set them apart. I mean, even from day one, they always seemed like a Wish version of Private Party to me, with a ton more charisma, but in the ring, they always bored me. So I'm glad to see the Usos retain that. I'm not sure if it was next, but we had a vignette, which, great vignette, beautifully done vignette. A lot of people were speculating that was for Bray Wyatt. When I initially saw it, or at least started seeing it, I thought it was Bray too, which shocked me, but then I saw the license plate for Latino Heat. Which almost made me think maybe it's Eddie's daughter coming in. But if you analyze the video itself, there are some very key components within the video. There's some Christian imagery. There is a gold medal in there. There is a glove/armband type thing that Jeff Hardy would wear, and the Latino Heat license plate representing a Guerrero. I'm thinking that this is a vignette for Edge, and I think that this is going to be signifying his return as a babyface. If it is, incredible vignette. Great vignette. When WWE and AEW also, when they want to create vignettes, they do tremendous jobs. And I would highly recommend that they do things like this more often, because the vignette itself was incredible. Beautifully done. Sparked a lot of interest, but did not give you enough to blatantly come out and say who it was. Just incredible vignette. Which I'm thinking is for Edge. I seriously doubt, because the symbolism within it really doesn't make any sense to me, as far as like the Angle, the Hardy, and the Eddie connection. There really isn't any of that to Bray, so it wouldn't make complete sense, even though the vignette was very much in the vein of Bray Wyatt, which I've heard absolutely nothing on the news front for Bray Wyatt, aside from him changing his name a couple of times within Twitter. I haven't heard anything. And last I knew, he was making a movie, so I kind of don't see him showing up in wrestling for a little bit of time. I would be shocked if he did, but I'm almost convinced that this was, I should say, a vignette for Edge, because that's the only superstar it really makes sense for. We had wow, my brain is eluding me today, and just because 4th of July, I'm not celebrating right now, But we had Ronda Rousey versus Natalya, and for Ronda Rousey's championship. Good match, good solid match, which I absolutely knew it would be. At this point, Natalya is one of the better female workers out there. There's no reason why she should ever really have a bad match. The only time it's been, what makes her uninteresting sometimes is her personality. But she is a great worker, regardless of what you want to say about her personality. Now Ronda Rousey retained, which is a good thing for now. For the moment, I should say. And guess whose music hits immediately after this happens? Which is kind of weird because a lot of times when things like this happen, it's a heel move. It kind of looks like a heel move. But Liv Morgan comes out, and goes into I can't even call it a match, very brief quote-unquote match with Ronda Rousey, which Morgan ends up exploiting the knee of Ronda Rousey, which was kayfabe injured within the match previous to that with Natalya. And while Ronda had her in an ankle lock, she kicks out that Liv Morgan kicks out that bad knee and brings Ronda down and uses that, grabs her legs and uses that to pin her. So Liv Morgan is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Wild moment. I got to admit, it was a very touching moment when Ronda hugged her and embraced her after the match and handed the title over to her. It was one of those moments that definitely tugs at the heartstrings. It was a beautiful moment. Any human being could look at that and I'd question whether or not you have a heart or a soul if you didn't enjoy that moment, because it looked like a legitimate moment when Ronda handed that over to her and said something to her and handed the belt over to Liv Morgan. My wife started to tear up actually watching that, which was, like I said, it was a legitimate feel-good moment. Afterwards, while she was standing on the post, the chant of "You deserve it" started up. I'm not sure where that comes from. I get that Liv Morgan has improved greatly. She's been obviously working hard. You deserve it. I'm not sure she deserved that, but obviously at the time, the WWE Universe felt that was appropriate. I don't know about you deserve it. I haven't seen anything from Ruby Soho. I wouldn't be shocked if she tweeted out congratulations to her. Obviously, the two of them are very close friends, so. But congratulations to Liv Morgan. And getting back to the what I had mentioned previously, the men's Money in the Bank match, I should say, was the surprise contestant was none other than Austin Theory, or Theory as WWE calls him. So there goes my theory that he was in store for bigger and better things once he lost that United States Championship earlier on in the pay-per-view. So it looks like Austin Theory is now the Money in the Bank holder. So he has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He can cash that in anytime he wants. So no shocker there. People had speculated that was going to be Austin Theory, and they were right. It was Austin Theory. So there's our Money in the Bank men's champion right there, Austin Theory. I shouldn't say champion. He's not champion yet, but I think he's going to chase somebody for that belt, and I think he's going to get the belt. Guy's 24. It's kind of shocking how much they're behind him, but the guy's got the goods. He put on a great match with Cody not too long ago. The guy can go. He can talk. He's loaded with charisma. He's got a great look. It wouldn't shock me that they put the belt on him now. Then maybe have Cody chase him for the belt once he gets back. That would be a really good feud, and I think that would be a great match. But I was kind of interested to see what they were going to do with John Cena and him. It seems like they got a little bit of heat on the Cena tribute between them, and there's been a little bit previous to that, but they didn't pull the trigger on that. So I don't know if Cena's going to come back. Hopefully he doesn't come back for the champion. If he does come back and face Austin, I'm hoping that Theory beats him, and then setting up for the showdown against Cody Rhodes eventually, because the two of them put on a great match, and I would love to see that again, especially in a big pay-per-view situation like a Survivor Series, or even setting up for next WrestleMania. I think that could headline be excellent. I think that would be great, But a couple of things to look forward to. Be interesting to see what they do on Raw tonight. But some really cool things happen in wrestling. Really good things getting set up, I wouldn't say it was one of the better pay-per-views in a while, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was pay-per-view level, quality, I should say. But that's about it for as far as the wrestling front goes. I'm sure there's a lot of other things I could talk about, but kind of under time constraints today. Going to go and celebrate the 4th of July with my family, and I hope everyone out there listening, if you have family, I hope you do too. Happy 4th of July. Please be safe. Please be careful. I'd like to give a shout out to Lucky Lady Candles. Catch them on Facebook and Etsy. Give a shout out to Then and Now Flea Market, where you can go down and buy some merchandise for myself and my wife. And I will be playing there August 13th on their open house, so that's going to be fun. I'll be playing there. Look for me in downtown Trenton on August 13th. I'll be there in the morning starting at 10, and I'll have a set that'll run probably through into the afternoon. So check me out there, and while you're there, or even check it out before, you can purchase some items from myself, from my wife, some handcrafted items from my wife, and a ton of other vendors. So Then and Now Flea Market in downtown Trenton. And if you're looking for flea markets, check out Peggy's, because we have a booth there too. So go check out Peggy's. You can buy one of my CDs. You can buy some beautiful handcrafted items from my wife Jenna, and that's in Milan, Tennessee, I should say, Peggy's Attic. And while you're at it, you can check out my wife's page, Hooked by Jenna Lynn. And you can check out some of our artwork and handcrafted items there. So check that out, Hooked by Jenna Lynn. And while I'm at it, giving props to everyone, why don't we give props to ourselves? Go to crushingkayfabe.com, crushing with a K, crushingkayfabe.com. And there are links for all of our social media sites. And one of those social media sites is Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com and do a search for Crushing Kayfabe, crushing with a K, you can subscribe to us for only $1 a month. What the advantage of subscribing to us from Patreon is that you will get no ads whatsoever on the. You'll get the audio every month, and with no ads whatsoever. So no ads placed from Spotify or YouTube on there. And check us out there. And for just $1 a month, you can help keep the lights on and help us out tremendously. So continue to pray for the people in the Ukraine. Send your donations to like the Red Cross and UNICEF and the variety of other legitimate organizations. There are some scam ones, so be careful. But continue to pray for the people in Ukraine. They need your help. They need supplies. They need help. They need food. They need help. So continue to pray for them, and continue to enjoy this beautiful weather. It is insanely hot in western Tennessee right now, and it's going to continue to be so. And there are drought conditions, so if you live in Tennessee, please be careful tonight, because we don't want to see any fires starting, because it could one little spark could easily set up grass that's dry and set some vegetation on fire, which we don't want, obviously. But don't let that stop you from having a good time. Enjoy 4th of July. Celebrate our independence. So otherwise we'd be speaking English today. So enjoy your 4th of July. Have some good cookout and listen to Crushing Kayfabe when you can. Thank you, everybody, and God bless.